talking about a home. Talking about me and you. Things we'll do. I said a home. Not talking about a one-night stand. I wanna be your man. I said a home.
From the people who bring you Charleston Home and Design Magazine, the Charleston Home and Design Show, the Custom Home and Remodel Show, and Charleston's online home show, newhomecharleston.com, this is Talking About a Home. Talking About a Home is a home show on the radio, featuring interviews with local experts, home tips, trends, and ideas you need to know to make your home better. I'm Michael Blaze with 5 Star Real Estate, and this is Talking About a Home.
Good afternoon. I'm Tim Barkley with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and I want to thank you for listening to Talking About a home show on the radio. In addition to our radio show Talking About a Home, we also publish Charleston Home and Design Magazine, winner of the American Society of Interior Designers Excellence in Design Media Award, and also winner of the American Institute of Architects Charleston Chapter's Honor Award for Journalism. You may also be familiar with the 3 custom home shows we organize: the Charleston Home and Design Show, which takes place every January, Charleston's only open-air home show, the Charleston Home and Design Show on Daniel Island, which is coming up April 26th and 27th, Saturday and Sunday, at Family Circle Stadium on Daniel Island, and the Custom Home and Remodel Show and Hurricane Expo, which takes place every August. Well, today's show, you're going to be listening to interviews from the red carpet, specifically the red carpet that Charleston Home and Design Magazine had at the AIA Charleston Honor Awards that were held recently. They were actually held back in November, and this is our first opportunity to air some of the interviews of architects who attended the awards ceremony and the awards dinner, and we'll be talking to several architects. AIA Charleston stands for the American Institute of Architects, the Charleston chapter, and every few years, I think it's every 4 years or so, they have an awards ceremony, and that took place this past November at Meminger Auditorium, and the Charleston Home and Design Magazine staff was there staffing the red carpet. We had about a 30-foot by 6-foot wide red carpet. We had the stanchions and the red velvet ropes. We had our photographers. We had our videographers out. We had a media backdrop with Charleston Home and Design Magazine logo, trying to emulate as much as we could some of the red carpet events that you see on TV, and so we were very, very proud to have the AIA Charleston chapter invite us out once again to conduct interviews and take photos of some of the local Charleston AIA architects who were attending, were up for awards, and so forth. So we're going to be hearing interviews from the red carpet of the AIA Honor Awards. Also, we're going to be listening to in the audio of a video interview with Philip W. Smith, general contractor, and there's a story in the winter issue, the latest issue of Charleston Home and Design Magazine, about a project that Philip W. Smith, general contractor, was involved with, and you're going to be listening to the audio of that video. And not to confuse anybody with that, in Charleston Home and Design Magazine, you might pick up our issue in one of the doctor's offices around town, or one of the home-related companies where we distribute Charleston Home and Design Magazine for free. And you may be reading one of the stories in Charleston Home and Design Magazine. You come to the conclusion of the story, and there's a little barcode, a QR code, and you can take out your phone and scan that QR code to watch a behind-the-scenes video that's associated with the story you just read. And all of these videos are also on YouTube, and they're also located on our website, charlestonhomeanddesign.com, charlestonhomeanddesign.com. So you're going to be listening to the audio from the video, and if you want more to see the video, go to charlestonhomeanddesign.com and look under the video section, and you can also go to YouTube and search that as well. Wanted to talk to you about the Charleston Home and Design Show on Daniel Island, which I mentioned is coming up April 26th and 27th at Family Circle Stadium on Daniel Island. And we've got this will be our third time that we've had our home show on Daniel Island. Previous 2 years have been big successes, and we are very happy to accommodate the not just the Daniel Island residents who come out to the Charleston Home and Design Show on Daniel Island, but we always get a big crowd from all over Charleston, from the East Cooper area, from Somerville, Goose Creek, the North area, West Ashley, really from all points of Charleston. People come out to the Charleston Home and Design Show on Daniel Island, and we always have a big local giveaway, and our prize package this year, we're going to be giving away 2 closet systems, along with the services of a professional organizer, Jennifer Truesdale, with Straighten Up, and she'll be coordinating the fulfillment of the prize giveaway and helping the homeowners reorganize their closets. And as 2 new closet systems are installed in the winner's home, and so be giving away a big closet organizing makeover at the Charleston Home and Design Show on Daniel Island. And we'll also be doing our 3rd annual Daniel Island Luxury Home Tour, and there'll be more information forthcoming about that. We've got about 6 beautiful homes on Daniel Island that will be part of the tour. Some of these homes are in the 5,000 to 6,000 square foot range. And the past 2 years we've been doing the Daniel Island Luxury Home Tour. It's amazing the homeowners that come out to tour these homes. By and far, a lot of them are people who are getting ready to build a house, and so they're looking for ideas, they're looking for inspiration, and that can definitely be found in the by touring the 5 to 6 homes that we typically have. I think we had 8 homes last year, and so that's going to be coming up on Saturday only, April 26th, from 1 to 5 p.m. And then once again, the Charleston Home and Design Show on Daniel Island takes place on Saturday and Sunday. Usually we have a Friday component to our home shows, but for the Daniel Island show, it's a little bit smaller. It's only on Saturday and Sunday. We jam it all into 2 days instead of 3, and so we hope everyone will come out to that. And also, I just wanted to put it out there to we have most of them, but there are still a few high-end home-related companies that have not participated in our home shows in the past. And if you happen to be listening and you want more information, you can give us a call at 843-577-7652. That's the Charleston Home and Design Magazine offices, 843-577-7652. Have a great weekend.
I'm Megan Bush with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, talking to architect Margie Longshore of Stubbs, Muldrow & Heron, and Jennifer Charjewski of Leolio. I'm also here with Christy Conway, also of Charleston Home and Design Magazine. How are you guys doing today?
We're great. Fantastic. Great. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, I am here to catch up with you guys about the AIA Charleston Chapter Evening of Design Excellence Awards, which took place a few Saturdays ago, and Christy and myself were there on the red carpet to interview some of the architects. We just wanted to sit down and see how everything went. So compared to past years, how do you guys think this year compares?
Well, we had a great evening. Lots of really outstanding projects were submitted by local firms. We always really enjoy having this opportunity to to show off and recognize the work that local firms are doing. There's a lot of outstanding work that's happening. Unfortunately, this year, the number of submittals we had was down a little bit because of the construction industry decline over the last couple of years, but the quality of the work was still up to par with what we expect to see from local firms. We were excited to bring the event back downtown after holding it out at Middleton Place for the past couple of times, and I think that the architects in town were thrilled to have a chance to be in the Meminger Auditorium space and kind of see it at night and really celebrate great architecture there.
It was really exciting to, Meminger Auditorium's a beautiful space that's managed by Spoleto USA, and Huff Gooden Architects, a local firm, renovated it several years ago, and it was really exciting to be there as guests and attendees, and we were able to hang the AIA banners on the front porch, so it was a fun moment, I think, for us to walk up and see that and have that flair. And we're noticing that while we did have a constricted construction economy over the past few years, everyone is frantically working on new projects. Things are heating up, so we know that in 3 years when we do this again, we're definitely going to have a ton of submittals, as everyone's got a lot of cool projects on the boards right now.
That is great. Speaking of all of these submissions, how do you guys kind of sift through them and decide which are the best ones and which ones are worthy of an award?
Well, we use the format that every AIA chapter uses, which is an outside jury, so that we're, as local AIA Charleston members, we're not judging the projects, but we pull together a jury chair each year. And this year the jury chair was Kurt Fentress, who's a fellow in the American Institute of Architects. He's internationally recognized. He's won the Thomas Jefferson Award for Public Architecture, and he has a practice in Denver, Colorado. And he put together the rest of his jury, three great architects in Denver, John Stoltz, Matt Briest, and I'm blanking on the third name, Jeff Olson. He put together a jury of great architects out in the Denver area, John Stoltz, Matt Briest, and Jeff Olson. And I was able to travel to Denver just to sit there as the moderator, to bring the entries and run the slideshow, basically. But it was great to be a fly on the wall as the jury discussed. And so they have the challenge of taking what each submittal presents. So when you create an entry for the design awards, you are trying to convey what that project is in a series of 10 images or less. And you get a short description. And so the jury spent over 5 hours with these entries, going through them repeatedly, looking at the photographs, talking about them with each other, and really getting an understanding of them. And it was the jury that made the selections of the winners.
And overall, how many submissions do you think you guys had?
We had about 4 dozen total submissions, and this year we only had 2 categories. We had the Design Awards category, and that encompassed projects of any type, whether it's residential, single-family, or multifamily. We had educational projects from the K-12 markets as well as higher education, public projects, healthcare projects, community projects, developer projects. So of any type or scale are submitted to the Design Awards category. We also had a second category for unbuilt projects. Marge, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I can. About at least the last time we did Design Awards, and it may have been at the previous award before that, as we saw that the economy was slowing down and that people had projects on the boards that, because of economic conditions, weren't necessarily going to go forward, we introduced this unbuilt category so that architects would have the opportunity to be recognized for these projects that probably were never going to be built. And we have typically gotten a good response from people with that, whether it's a project they designed for a client or a competition entry that may be more theoretical. This really gives architects the opportunity to explore work and present that work that may just have, that's less constrained by reality. And the juries typically really respond to that work well because it can just be a little bit more creative and imaginative, and you get some ideas that in in the real construction world you just wouldn't see every day. It's kind of a fun category to judge, and I think that the juries really respond to that and have a good time looking at the awards and saying, "Ooh, I never would have thought of that." So.
It was also a challenge for the jury that I noticed both in 2010 and this year in 2013. Our two winners in the unbuilt category were theoretical projects and competition entries. We did have some beautiful submissions this year from architects that were real client-based projects that, like Margie said, just aren't going to go forward to completion. And what was interesting is seeing the jury wrestle with these two different types of projects, whereas the purely theoretical have that allure of the academic. And when something is a real building, they want to see it even more real. They talked about wanting to see, well, this is a really beautiful project, but I would need to see how the details resolved themselves in construction, and that's not the point of that category. So it was an interesting struggle, and I wonder if that will continue to play out. Or we can do some thinking in how we plan for future years to accommodate both the client-based unbuilt and the purely theoretical unbuilt.
Right. Well, the judges have narrowed it down, and there were 8 winning projects. Would you guys be willing to tell us a little bit about each of those projects?
Okay, well, let's start with the unbuilt category. As we mentioned, there were a lot of really phenomenal entries, and there were 2 winners selected. A merit award went to a local architect, Chris Bonner, and he actually won an award for the same category in 2010. Doing a similar thing, which is really great. He's very tied into his community, and he's studied a question or a problem he sees in Charleston. And so this project was called Renew Corner, and it was an examination of the corner store typology that we see so much in downtown Charleston. And so he designed a purely conceptual, purely theoretical idea for a corner store with living spaces above. And what the jury really liked about that was the concept of this exploration, and they encouraged us as AIA Charleston to host a design competition for this very thing. So we'll see if we can pull that together.
I think that would be a great idea.
So that was a merit award for an unbuilt project that went to Chris Bonner, AIA. The other unbuilt award was an honor award to 2 gentlemen that I've actually gotten to know pretty well. They do work at Leolio Architecture, Dan Cordy and David Deweese, and they're both recent graduates within the past 1 to 2 years of architecture school, and they entered an international competition that focused on playscapes. And so their entry was called Lightscapes Charleston, and it was a theoretical concept, again, cited on Rag Square, Rag Mall, for an interactive light installation, pavilion, and bike charging station that would be a playground for all ages, if you will. So that was the other honor award in the unbuilt category to Leolio Architecture, which was David Deweese and Dan Cordy.
I think that one thing that was important about that project, the graphic presentation that was put together with that submittal, was really outstanding. The images that they had generated, the renderings, really let you have a sense of what it would be like to be in that space, and were very, very instrumental in conveying the ideas that they had behind the project.
That was one that was exciting to the jury. They felt was pushing the boundaries of architecture, that in fact it wasn't architecture in a traditional sense, but an architect playing with sculptural elements and creating spaces in a park. In the Design Awards category, there were 6 winners. There was one merit award that was given, again, to architecture for preservation to the U.S. Customs House. There were several really incredible preservation projects submitted. We have a lot of great preservation work that happens in Charleston, and the trick is always conveying to the jury a clear before and after what was done. And the work that was done at the Customs House, they actually opened up and investigated the cisterns underneath the building. There were moisture issues that were handled by removing all of the marble slabs from the outside of the building. And then the part that the jury really found interesting was the paint analysis on the interior. The interior was all painted a monochromatic industrial off-white, but through forensic paint analysis, the team uncovered the Victorian painting scheme and restored it to really vivid deep reds and golds and browns that were found in that era and brought it to life. And I think that's what the jury appreciated in that project. One of the honor awards went to Thomas and Denzinger Architects, to the Herman Denzinger Studio, for the Center of Art and Academics, and a lot of us know that as the campus for Academic Magnet and School of the Arts. So that's a Charleston County School District project.
Mm-hmm. And it's exciting to see a project of this scale win. It really showed that the architects had a good grasp of how to follow the concept of the school through to the details, and I believe the jury recognized the effort that went into really crafting the performance spaces, which obviously are a big part of the School of the Arts, the cafeteria spaces. The cafeteria is one of the probably more stunning in a public school in Charleston County, and that's a space that is so important to the students because it's one of the spaces where the students are able to congregate and it's one of the spaces that the students use every day. It's very important to the school. The arrangement of the buildings on the site also allowed a good dialogue between the interior and exterior spaces, and it really reinforces the program of the school and the focus on the arts and the academic and it really reinforces the focus of the school on the arts programs as well as the stringent academic requirements that they have.
The jury caught on right away to the really elegant solution to, as Margie said, handling a very large public school campus. It's actually 2 campuses, and the design decision to create a long spine that was actually exterior pedestrian circulation. It's covered, and that spine houses all the building systems. It's taking mechanical and electrical systems through to all the buildings it connects. And so what that created was a lot of really beautiful in-between spaces, and as Margie said, indoor-outdoor spaces. And the jury commented a lot that it just looked like an absolutely stunning place to go to school. They loved just a lot of great light. And I've been to that school myself, and the quality of the architecture is really inspirational. It's inspirational to see that in our public school environment, inspiring all the kids out there. The Thomas and Denzinger architects did win another honor award. We'll jump to their other project. The Jim Thomas Studio won an award for the Windmill Pavilion. And this is a great little project that's up in the future development at East Edisto. And it's what we might call a folly. It's a pavilion, and it was inspired by the iconic symbols of the windmill, the fire tower, and the shed. It's a covered shelter that will be part of that development that is powered actually by alternative energy. It's powered by the wind turbine and the solar panels. And that submittal had a lot of really beautiful hand sketches with it. And the jury really just enjoyed that exploration of forms and talked a lot about how it sits in the landscape and how the elements relate to each other.
I think that project was very exciting from the sustainable measures that it employed, and then it just was it was very visually captivating because of the vernacular materials, the metal roof, and the rustic nature of the materials the rustic materials that they used really have an emotional connection to a lot of people in this area, and I think that's what draws a lot of people to the work of that office. Is there's a big, I think that draws a lot of people to the work of that office. There's a great feeling of authenticity that occurs in a lot of their projects, and we really love to see that in awards projects.
Another honor award went to McMillan Pasden Smith Architects for a project that hopefully many of you have visited or will go visit, the new Mix and Bath and Racket Club in North Charleston. And I was actually fortunate to be at a continuing education event there. Architects like to get together and talk about things like specs for swimming pools. Really wanted to just see that beautiful building. So it's a really incredible private amenities club that was a collaboration with Lake Flato Architects from Texas on some of the initial conceptual design, but beautifully executed by McMillan Pasden Smith and developed. It includes a community center, a restaurant, locker rooms, outdoor swimming pool, yoga studios, and it has the jury really gravitated towards the elegant execution of vernacular details. It really spoke to a spirit of place they felt and had a very fine level of craft in the use of the materials. It's corrugated metal, but with very fine detailing and a lot of natural light, and just it's a fun space to party. So I encourage you guys to all go check that out.
Yeah, and I would just echo what Jennifer said. It really comes off as a fun space. The intention of the space is reflected in all of the details. It's a very bright, playful space. The colors that were used are very vibrant, and when you go there, you know that you're supposed to have a good time, and it very well fulfills its purpose in that way.
McMillan Paston Smith took home a second honor award for a project that the jury kept referring to as a real jewel, the Cooper School Edition. This is one that I drive by all the time on 61, and it's a beautiful private K-5 small edition existing school, and it's on 61, but as we all know, it's a residential scale neighborhood. And a lot of the jury comments centered around the beautiful proportions, the reinterpretation of the Charleston porch, and the way that it's expressed. And from the first time they saw it, it was definitely a jury favorite. It's a great project, and the small story behind it is that the construction was actually completed within 2 months. So it happened fast, but it happened beautifully. Okay, and the last honor award went to Leolio Architecture for the St. Helena Library at Penn Center. This is on St. Helena Island in the Beaufort County Library System, so it's a little bit of a drive from Charleston, but I encourage anyone who hasn't been to go check out the Penn Center campus. It's a beautiful National Historic Landmark District, and St. Helena Island is a very special and sacred place where the culture of Gullah Geechee heritage was very richly preserved. And so the St. Helena Library was a real challenge in being respectful of that culture and creating an architecture that would be reflective of that place. There were community workshops involved in planning that and learning and uncovering a lot of things about the people who live on the island and how to translate that into architecture. There's a raised wooden stomping floor in the community meeting room for spirituals and community sings. And the materials are all just very much about the natural environment, the beautiful oak trees, the rich wood tones, many views to the outsides. You have that connection to the outdoors. And that project coincidentally also won the Students' Choice Award. So that was the 9th award presented that evening. We again partnered with the Clemson Architecture Center in Charleston and its director, Ray Huff, to give the students the same chance the jury had. We treated it in the exact same way. They sat down in a formal setting and went through the same slides that the jury in Denver saw. And they went through and they talked about each project and had a discussion with each other. One thing that was fun was Ray gave each student one passion plea, that if a project wasn't going to move forward to the next round, that student on their own could move it forward with their one passion plea, and that was utilized a few times. So it was a very, very engaging discussion and a tough choice for the students. There were a lot of really strong finalists, and in the end they settled on the Student Choice Award going to the St. Helena Library as well.
Great. It sounds like there were 8 fantastic projects that were chosen, but as we've been talking about them, I've noticed that they're all commercial projects. They're not residential projects. How did this play into the judging?
Well, as I mentioned, the category, there was one category for design awards, and that encompassed submittals even of a residential type. And we, as AIA Charleston, we want to see absolutely as much engagement of our wonderful residential architects as we can. AIA has a component called the Custom Residential Architects Network, CRAN. And that's a great group of architects, and some of them did in fact submit projects. There were some really nice residential projects submitted, and I remember a couple of them made it very far in the jury deliberations. So I think this year that was just coincidental that there wasn't an award given to one of those, but we always hope to see even more of those in future years and see them win awards, because there's a lot of great architecture going on with our residential architects.
Well, I believe the good thing about having commercial projects is that some of our listeners might actually find themselves in one of these buildings. Speaking of the AIA, though, especially the Charleston chapter, what other events do you guys hold in the area, and what do you do to kind of make architects part of the community?
I'm so glad you asked, Megan. That is definitely a central part of our goal with the American Institute of Architects to promote the profession of architecture, but also just promote design excellence in our community. And a really exciting thing that we have started up again this year after a brief hiatus, but is a partnership with the Clemson Architecture Center in Charleston with a joint lecture series. And we are halfway through the first year. We hope to see it continue for many years to come. This inaugural year, there are 4 lectures, 2 in the fall, which we've just finished the second one. In October, we heard from Joel Sanders, an incredible architect from New York. And just last week, we heard from Rick Joy. And I know, Megan, you were there enjoying that lecture with us. And in March, we're all excited to hear from Marlon Blackwell. Speaking of authenticity and regionalism, you don't get much more authentic than that. And all of these lectures are completely free and open to the public at large. And it's something that we really hope over time more and more people will learn about and join us for these as just a way to be inspired about architecture.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. Again, this has been Megan Bush with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and I'm also here with our editor, Christy. We've been speaking with Margie and Jennifer, both members and very active in the Charleston chapter of AIA. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks very much.
All right, now for our listeners, how about we turn to mine and Christy's presence on the red carpet at the AIA Charleston Chapter Evening of Design Excellence. Let's see what the architects had to say before they even knew they won. I'm Megan Bush with Charleston Home and Design Magazine here at Miminger Auditorium for the American Institute of Architects Design and Excellence Awards. And I am here tonight with Jerry Trano and his wife Kelly of Novus Architecture. How are you doing this evening?
Very well, thank you.
Awesome. And how are you?
Awesome.
Great. Well, I hear that you guys have submitted 3 different projects and you are up for some awards tonight. Can you tell me about each of those projects?
I can. We have submitted 3 healthcare designs from 2 different clients. Healthcare is one of the larger portions of our work, and 2 of the larger clients are the Dorn VA in Columbia and Roper Hospital here in Charleston. And we're very excited that we had the opportunity to submit these designs. 2 are with the VA, and we were just blessed with the opportunity to try to help our vets returning to make the campus safer and give them facilities to return to and to help them with their needs. And the other is with Roper Hospital in one of their satellite facilities. As they expand their satellite facilities, we've done a lot of work with that as well. It's with James Island Ambulatory Surgery Center.
Well, wonderful. Did you face any particular challenges with any of these projects in the design process?
Well, the VA is always challenging. They've got a very complex campus. One of the 2 projects we submitted was to actually make the entranceway safer for their patients by putting in a accessible entrance via 2 elevators that replaced an old stairway that was becoming very dangerous for their patients. Very challenging site issues with that project. And the James Island Ambulatory Surgery Center is just challenging, trying to meet the client needs as they expand their services outside of their main hospital campus. Very diverse group of folks and a lot of needs that needed to be met with that.
Wonderful. I wish you guys the best of luck this evening, and I hope you win an award. That would be wonderful. Well, thank you so much. This has been Megan Bush speaking with Kelly and Jerry of Novus. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Honored to be here.
Thank you. I'm Megan Bush, and I am here this evening with Charleston Home and Design Magazine on the red carpet at Miminger Auditorium for the American Institute of Architects Evening of Design and Excellence Awards. The ceremony is honoring different architects around the area, their firms, and the projects that exemplify the very best in architecture here in Charleston. Right now, I am with Liz Siebenbrunner and Beth Novak of GBA. How are you guys doing this evening?
Very well, thank you. Thanks.
Wonderful. I have heard that you guys submitted projects and you are up for some awards this evening. Can you tell me what projects did you submit and what makes them special?
One project we submitted was for Trident Technical College Building 950. It was a renovation to an existing building, the completion of 2 empty spaces. One became the home for the Media Arts and Film program, and the other one is a new fitness center and a cafe for the campus. It's an exciting project just because the the spirit of the campus and just working with college kids just really kind of infused the tone of the project, and working with like innovative design and materials, and just to like go with the spirit of that. And it was also just to take something that had been such a blank building and really gave it new life. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and you guys submitted a second project as well. Liz, will you tell me something about that project?
Certainly. Christ Our King is a youth and senior center in Mount Pleasant, almost into Sullivan's Island. It's a new building we designed to look like an old Sullivan's Island beach house, but incorporating it into more of a commercial community. Engaging youth and senior activities. There's 3 spaces set up in the building, one for seniors to interact, one for youth to basically get together after church or after school, and then there's a central space that the seniors can come together and teach the youth how to do some of their activities, and then the kids can bring the seniors in and let them listen to their music and talk about their days and get a great mentorship program.
Did you happen to face any challenges in the design of either of those projects?
I think if you ask any designer about challenges, it's certainly every day is a new thing, and it's never anything that you can anticipate going into a project. But I think that with Christ Our King, we certainly learned how to work with such a diverse range of clientele, from honoring what the youth wanted and what the seniors needed, and then making it into a neutral space that they could both enjoy. But it's always something different. You never know what you're going to get when you start a project.
I bet it is absolutely beautiful. This has been Megan Bush with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, speaking with Liz and Beth of GBA. Thank you guys both so much.
I'm Christy Conway with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, here on the red carpet at Meminger Auditorium in downtown Charleston for the American Institute of Architects Evening of Design Excellence Awards ceremony, honoring the architects, their firms, and the projects that exemplify the very best in architecture. And now we're speaking with Curtis Fentress here on the red carpet. Curtis, how are you doing?
Great. It's really fun to be here in Charleston.
Yeah. So you're actually the keynote speaker here at the AIA Awards.
Right. I'm going to give a 30, 45-minute presentation at dinner while everyone is having dinner.
Do you want to... Oh, sorry.
And I was also the chairman of the awards jury.
Do you want to give us a hint of what you're going to talk about tonight?
Well, I'm going to talk about design philosophy. I'm going to talk about business of architecture, and show a portfolio of projects from the last 30 years of our work.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you're going to miss out on the food, though.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to go to a restaurant later.
Okay. Now, I hear that you were kind of behind the Charleston International Airport. Is that right?
Well, our team is working on the airport with several other groups locally here, the AIA, and we are currently getting under construction with that work. It's about $160 or $70 million worth of work.
So it's a big deal for sure. What kind of plans do you have for the airport?
Well, we're going to consolidate the security checkpoint into one place, so it's going to be easier for everyone to get through, and then we're going to connect the concourses, and we are creating a new retail area that is inside of the secured zone, which will double the income for the airport and reduce the energy cost of the airport, and we're going to give the whole place a facelift.
Mm-hmm. It's very needed, I think. Have you ever worked on an airport before?
This is about our 12th airport project.
Oh. What other big-time airports have you worked on?
Well, the Denver International Airport, Incheon Airport in South Korea, which has been for the last 8 years the #1 airport in the world for passenger experience. The new international concourse for LAX, Seattle SeaTac, Central Terminal, Sacramento Airport, Raleigh-Durham International Airport, and others.
Mm-hmm. What's the challenges that come about when working on an airport? I'm sure there are a lot.
Well, it's a really complex project. I'd say it's as complicated as a hospital for sure. And there's at least 40 different stakeholders involved as you're working on the design of the project, and at least 40 or so consultants involved. So it's very complex in terms of organization and administration of all that work. And so all that leads to a lot of challenges to make it interesting and exciting architecture from it.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me. I'm pretty excited to hear what you have to say this evening. We've been talking to Curtis Fentress, the keynote speaker here at the AIA Awards. Thanks so much for talking with me.
Thank you.
I'm Christy Conway with Charleston Home and Design Magazine here on the red carpet at Meminger Auditorium in downtown Charleston for the American Institute of Architects Evening of Design Excellence Awards ceremony, honoring the architects, their firms, and the projects that exemplify the very best in architecture. And now we're speaking with Dinos and Sherry Liolio of the Liolio firm. Is that right?
Liolio Architecture.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so tell us about the project that you and your firm are up for an award for this evening.
We have submitted a few awards, some of which include a brand new building, which is a library in St. Helena Island in Beaufort County, and then a preservation award for the U.S. Custom House that was a multi-phase restoration exercise. And I can't think of anything else at this point. I'm just drawing a blank.
Special project, the
unbuilt project.
Okay.
That is a
park study. Wasn't it a park study?
Yeah,
I think.
Yes.
So is that 3 projects then?
At least 3 projects.
At least. Okay. You're going to sweep the whole award show.
Oh, Lord. there were a couple of others that we had submitted as well. There's the a boat facility shed at Ripley Light Marina and a fire station for the city of Hanahan.
Fantastic. Now, how long have you both been architects?
Almost 40 years.
Wow.
You make it sound
But Sherry started when she was 5.
we went to Auburn University and graduated at the same time. I think we became registered in the late 70s. So.
And you started Liolio Architects at what point?
Actually, my father started the firm in 1956, and we joined the firm in 1976 and have just loved it ever since.
Family business.
To an extent, we have 2 other partners as well, and 2 associate principals in the firm, and then 3 associates as well. We have a total staff of about 30 people.
Well, that's fantastic. Can you tell me a little bit more about these projects that you are up for? Maybe some challenges, what makes them unique, things like that.
St. Helena Island is probably one of the most one of the most wonderful efforts that we've ever put together. It was a comprehensive endeavor that involved a multitude of people, that involved a tremendous amount of cultural mapping, cultural anthropologists, engagement with the community to help us define the project to a greatest extent. We are on the Gullah Geechee corridor with this building, and being on St. Helena Island, it's in the heart of the Gullah Geechee culture. And
next to the Penn Center.
Next to the Penn Center, contiguous to the Penn Center. So the idea of really engaging the community and engaging the people of St. Helena Island was an absolute wonderful experience for us. We also were involved with the preservation of the U.S. Custom House, which is a project we have submitted. That was a wonderful exercise of actually going. One of my other partners, Rick Bousquet, actually headed up that endeavor. It was an endeavor of going into the Cortil, the main public area in the building, and through paint conservation analysis, identifying its circa 1872 paint scheme. And we have actually reinstated that Victorian theme back into the building, as well as a variety of other preservation efforts. And then the fire station in Hanahan was very contextual in regards to the manner that it integrated within a very fine fabric neighborhood. And the little boat shed that we did with Ripley Marina was a fascinating exercise in modular architecture, where the vast majority of the panels were actually built in a studio and then transported and put together.
That's happening more and more nowadays.
It is. It truly is. And a lot of it is due to the rapid growth in population, exploration in different construction means and methods. But it was a wonderful solution.
It seems like a lot of your projects are through the government?
99% of our work is public.
Okay.
So a lot of it is publicly funded, a lot of colleges, secondary education, primary education, state work as well, and some commercial endeavors, and healthcare. Healthcare is a big market of ours as well.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for speaking with me. We've been talking with Dinos and Sherry Leolio from the Leolio architecture firm. Thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Our pleasure.
I'm Christy Conway with Charleston Home and Design Magazine here on the red carpet at Meminger Auditorium in downtown Charleston for the American Institute of Architects Evening of Design Excellence Awards ceremony honoring the architects, their firms, and the projects that exemplify the very best in architecture. And now I'm speaking with Joellen Rogers of Carolina Contractors Association. Is that right?
Contracting Solutions.
Oh, that's actually sounds much better. And we're going to talk about the project that she's up for winning this evening. Tell me a little bit about it.
Sure. We did a project in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina called Children's Discovery Center. It is a client from Ohio. They own 6 centers there, and they're building their first in South Carolina. They brought their project to Carolina Contracting Solutions. We're a design-build firm. I'm the architect of record, and Daniel Rogers is the contractor of record. And it's an amazing center. They go by the Reggio Emilia philosophy of teaching. There's 8 classrooms. They've got infants. They've got even up to kindergarten, and a beautiful big 2-story space in the center of the building with an Arthur Ravenel Bridge replica, which was signed by Arthur Ravenel at the grand opening. So it was really exciting. Yes.
Okay. So tell us some challenges that I'm sure happen with kind of a project of that scope.
Well, Mount Pleasant DRB is a challenge in itself to get through, but I respect the process there. It was really close to Highway 17, so there were some traffic concerns about pulling in and pulling out, of course, for dropping off your child, and as well as matching up with some of the cross streets there, the neighboring businesses. We wanted to make sure that the children felt safe in an enclosed environment without removing all the landscaping that was existing there on site, and I think it really bridged the gap well between the commercial and the residential sector. It's kind of the one building in between the 2 spaces. So it's a huge play yard, which is probably one of the best things about it. Sometimes you show up to other care centers and they have a play yard on the side by the parking lot, and that's not what this is. This is wooded. This has a soccer field, a garden, and all kinds of neat play structures for the different ages. So we're really proud of it.
So you'd say that's probably what makes it most unique, or is there something else that you find unique?
The location's convenient for parents, and then the activities on the inside as well as the outside. It really marries the 2 pieces together, the playgrounds as well as the indoor playgrounds. Really, they were really big on textures and different surfaces and finishes, which was exciting to do as an interior architecture really inspires me, even though I'm a regular architect. I also acted as interior designer / architect on the project. So.
Oh, well, fantastic. Thank you so much for speaking with me. We've been talking with Joellen Rogers of Carolina Contracting Solutions here at the Meminger Auditorium in downtown Charleston for the AIA Evening of Design Excellence Awards ceremony.
I'm Megan Bush with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and I'm here in a beautifully remodeled Daniel Island home, speaking with homeowner Denning Anderson, office assistant Amanda Bear, and project manager BJ Park of Philip W. Smith, general contractor. How are you guys doing today?
Very good.
Very good.
Great. All right, well, BJ, why don't you start off by telling our listeners a little bit about Philip W. Smith, general contractor.
Philip W. Smith is a small company that specializes in custom homes and remodels.
Great. So you mentioned that you do remodels, and that's exactly the type of home that we're standing in right now. So, Denning, why did you and your husband decide to remodel this home?
It's been our vacation home for about 10 years, and deciding that we wanted to reside here permanently, we had a few changes we needed to make to have it more how we live our daily life instead of a vacation time.
Right.
Yes.
Well, what specifically were you looking for in the remodel? Were there certain requests that you had when you approached Philip W. Smith?
Yes, exactly. We did. We wanted more light in the house. We wanted more of an open plan for our family, and just good quality work.
Good. Well, BJ and/or Amanda, how did Philip W. Smith achieve the look and feel that the homeowners were looking for? Could you kind of give a room-by-room description of what you did, maybe starting with the laundry room?
Sure. With the laundry room, actually to create the new laundry room space, we end up having to pull the screen porch and make that living space of the home. And because what we have now for our mud room, it used to be the laundry room. So we made push the laundry room out into the new screen porch and created, I think, a great space for Denny and her family with the double washer and dryers, and I think all the storage they needed in there.
Right. And there's also a special space for your pets. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, that was the cabinet builder's idea, which was fabulous. He suggested that we put cupboard doors with a cat cutout on them with a hole where the belly would be, so the cats can go in and out for food and their litter. And then my dog doesn't get into it, and it keeps it away, and you don't have to look at it, but it makes it a cute idea. So it turned a negative into a positive.
Yeah, it turned out very, very cute.
It's adorable.
I want it in my house, that's for sure.
It's fabulous.
And you also did some remodeling upstairs as well. You want to tell us a little bit about that? Maybe let's talk about the closet and the master bedroom.
The closet and the master bedroom, actually, initial design had 2 closets built into one. So we were able to remove the secondary closet that was really just like kind of mechanical, but we were able to work around the existing mechanical to open up the space to allow for a better design for the family. And we just reworked a couple of walls, and I believe Denning worked with a designer to come in there and visit the space and see what suits best for them.
Then what about aesthetically, like the finishes in the house? What did you do to update those?
All the trim, a lot of the trim we just kind of custom matched to what was already existing on the new areas. Repainted the entire house, ceilings, trim walls, and refinished the floors. Upgraded a lot of tile in some or a handful of the areas. I think
that's good. So also move on to another area of the house. You guys mentioned taking away the screened-in porch. Why did you decide to make that decision? Did you not enjoy the screened-in porch?
The screen-in porch ran flush with the outside of the house, so you got no air movement. We didn't use it, and it was a lot of wasted space, and it was under the original roof line. So we started thinking when we brought our architect in, maybe to knock out one of the walls and push the wall out to make it flush with the exterior.
Right.
So to use that space as living space and not useless space, for lack of better words. But and he had some great ideas. Tyler was spot on with how we wanted and what our ideas were, and then even incorporating the laundry room. It was just amazing with 2 washers, 2 dryers, a kennel, a place for the cats. It couldn't be more user friendly.
Good.
It actually makes you almost want to do laundry.
Almost. So can you tell me a little bit about your experience working with Philip W. Smith General Contractor, as well as just remodeling in general? Do you have advice for other homeowners who are going to undertake such a project?
If they've never remodeled before, it is a lot different than new construction. My husband and I have remodeled before and built from the ground up, and quite frankly, I think sometimes it's easier to go from the ground up than for people to invade your living space and kind of see what you had for so long being torn down, and then it's a big decision because you get kind of attached to what you had even though you want it gone. So it can be an emotional ride for someone that hasn't done it before.
Right.
But choosing Philip Smith, which was brilliant on our part, they pretty much took care of everything. We, like I said, have done this before, and this was so simple and easy. They would ask us questions before we could even think there might have been, a question to be asked. So they would, lead you through it. And BJ's been great. Got him on speed dial. Text him when he's on vacation. Tell him to quit texting me back because he should be resting. So it's been a pleasure. And that's not normal, what you hear when
Right.
someone does remodeling. I'm sure everyone has heard horror stories. But it was great. I mean, got to know some of the guys, and they got to know our taste. So if we had something in the plans that BJ or one of the other gentlemen had started to know us, if we had something in the plans and they knew, yeah, I don't know if Denning or Morgan would like that. That doesn't seem like how they've been going down a certain path. Then they would call us and they would catch something for us that could have been an eyesore for us or just an inconvenience in general.
They were very forward-thinking.
Very forward-thinking.
Yes.
Because, they're, like I said, they thought for us before we could even get in the house and realize we had, made a tweak or a mistake. So lots of things like that. They really had our back. They looked out for us like it was their own home.
That's wonderful. Well, BJ, how long did the whole process start, or how long did it take from start to finish?
I can tell you.
Please.
We moved out the first week in January, and we moved back in the second week in June, I believe.
That's pretty quick.
So right at 6 months.
Yeah, and that's pretty much a whole home turnaround. It was a huge remodeling project.
It was huge. I mean, there was not one floor ceiling or wall or window sill, or there's not a nook and cranny in the house that they did not alter, touch, or make better. Or,
Right.
Even things you can't see, like ceilings being ripped out or walls being ripped out, because they suggested a different insulation to help with molding or humidity or more efficient heating and air. Things that you don't see when you take your pretty pictures and you have your interviews. So things like that we were so thankful for. Even like a little place on the roof that you guys
we found
fixed for
in the
us.
screen porch we found a major leak in the ceiling that because it was a screen porch, nobody ever knew about it.
Right.
When we opened up that space to create a living space, we found actually several leaks.
Oh goodness.
That we were actually able to correct without a problem and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of forward thinking, BJ, off camera, you mentioned that you guys had the lot next door and you maybe want to turn it into a courtyard. How did you kind of design the house in order to incorporate that in the future?
We had the window placement already, and we knew that we wanted to follow through with keeping the windows there to match the living space or the living room. But what we did with that area is just make sure, that the way we framed it, we were able to kind of pull that window out, take the framing out, and install a door without any, further problems. Make sure we didn't have any wiring or water lines running through that area, just to be able to make it an easy transition if that is a route that we end up going down later on.
Wonderful. Is there anything else that you guys want to add about the remodeling process or about Philip W. Smith, general contractor? If not, that's okay.
Well, I actually would.
Great.
I mean, we work with some, really good people like Tyler Smith, our architect, and Pritchard with our cabinetry. And I think everyone meshed real well together, and it was great overall. I can't say enough good. It was a very good experience. I'm glad it's done. I like having my home back, and it's nice to look around and see a new home. To me, it's not just a remodel. I have a whole new home and a new space, and it doesn't even remind me at all of what it used to look like.
That's a good thing, right?
Yes, it is. It is. And we're excited to get started on the side yard and the garage and a frog above and a nice living space to watch the Gamecocks.
Well, I know your children love it here. I'm sure
They
they
do.
do. Well, before we sign off, Amanda, would you be willing to tell our listeners how to get in touch with Philip W. Smith, general contractor?
Absolutely. Our phone number to reach the office is 843-881-9828. You can also catch us online at www.philip.smithcontractor.com.
Great. This has been Megan Bush of Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and thank you all for inviting us in and letting us take pictures and interview you.
Thank you very much for coming into my new home.
Talking about a home, talking about me and you, the things we'll do. I said a home, I'm talking about a one night stand. I wanna be your man. I said a home.
You've been listening to Talking About a home show on the radio. Talking About a Home is brought to you by the publishers of Charleston Home and Design magazine and the organizers of the Charleston Home and Design Show and the Custom Home and Remodel Show. To make contact with any of the companies featured today, visit newhomecharleston.com, Charleston's online home show, and home to over 200 local home-related companies motivated to work with you.